And I tell this story because a lot of people fall into it. You know, some people do this and that when they're younger, and like when get up to mischief. But I did all of that, and then I woke up one day, and there was just a black cloud over me, and I've never felt anything like it. It was overnight like that. There was no drink, no drink or drugs involved with the feeling. The next day, it was just I woke up and I realized what had happened, like that I'd lost my baby. Not in that sense, thank God, touch wood. You know, I hope nobody listening has, but like I'd lost her in terms of the access to her all of the time, like having the ability to see her. Fell into a 6-month depression.
Welcome to the Resilient Minds podcast, stories of grit, growth, and success. On this show, we focus on the real stories behind the success, the struggles, the resilience, and the courage it took to keep moving forward even when times got tough. My goal is to provide you with stories of hope and transformation, showing that no matter the challenges, there is a way forward, and you can find it. This is Resilient Minds.
Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Campbell, and I'm here with Michael Elliott, and he has a very powerful story to tell us, but he's also an AI expert. Or I'm sorry, is it AI ads or is it an ads expert? Because I saw both.
Yeah, so I did 14 years in the PPC trenches, and I still do to this day. And then about 2.5, 3 years ago, seeing the AI wave, seeing the no-code platforms like N8N come to fruition, I took the step into that, and I effectively merged the two together. And that's sort of my superpower, if you like, in that arena, because I've done that for so long. I now then can automate lead follow-ups and stuff. So yeah, both, but AI is coming. Well, it's here, but it's just coming at such a rate. It's scary.
Well, that's what I was thinking too, because when I was looking through your stuff, I would only imagine all the people, because your background's in Google Ads too. And as you develop in technology, it's kind of like you have no choice but to jump on the AI bandwagon because it's going whether we like it or not.
100%. And I firmly believe that the LLMs, Claude, ChatGPT, you know, AI Studio, whatever, like I believe that all of them will have paid PPC models eventually. If you look at Google's 200 billion a year that they make in profit from Google Ads, and then you look at the fact that like OpenAI lost like 10 billion in 2020, somewhere roughly around there, don't quote me, but around 10 billion in 2025, even though they have paying customers, the usage cost, etc., outweighs it. Investor backed, at some point they're going to want a return on investment on that money. Does that come with a price increase, or does that come with a PPC model where you can actually pay them to cite your products, to cite your website when people are searching for specific things? I think that is going to be one of the ways that they monetize. I think it'd be crazy to think that they're going to look at Google making 200 billion a year and not think I want a slice of that cake. Because I don't know about you, but now if I'm looking for like a new car, or if I'm looking for a certain type of clothing or whatever, I will go to like the shopping research feature on ChatGPT or whatever, OpenAI, and I will find specific products or running shoes or whatever it might be. So I'm already doing it myself, and I'm a PPC expert, so I can see it coming.
What does PPC stand for?
So it's pay-per-click advertising. So you effectively pay Google to show you when people search for, you know, if you were to search for the best podcast in the world and you wanted to show for it, you would bid on that keyword, and then it would cost you a certain amount of money when somebody clicks on that to go through to the website. So in a nutshell, that's it. In summary, what I would say is that PPC, pay-per-click, whether it be like Instagram and Meta, which is a PPC area, a niche social wise. But then you have the Google Ads and search engine PPC niches. Don't matter what it is, basically your job is to either increase brand awareness, or the main thing people use it for is to drive business growth at a profitable rate. So get more customers online using PPC.
Have you always had an interest in technology?
Do you know, like, yes, I would say yes. Like, I always have. Like, IT was my favorite subject at school. Like, and I used to play games when I was younger. So, like, it's always been something that has been part of me. But I wouldn't say I fall into a category where I am like technological, like, follow every trend and have to have the new phone. Like, I've got an iPhone 14. Like, I could, like, I just don't bother. I'm not huge into tech when it comes down to that. But I think there's always been something there to know that I would be in a digital career. But I think my strongest asset, the asset that is number one for me in terms of like what I can do, is I don't think it mattered what industry I fell into. And maybe we can cover how I fell into this industry, but I felt that it doesn't matter what industry I fall into, it's I can sell.
Mm.
So if I can sell, then I could sell anything: cars, boats, planes. Like, it wouldn't matter as long as I knew the product and could deliver something for them. Then I would be able to do it. And I think that was mainly the catalyst. Marketing and sales go hand in hand, really, because that's the base. That's the basis of what those two platforms are made up of. And yeah, I think that it's important that every single room that you go in your life, you have to sell.
Mm.
Whether you be talking to a girl that you like, you're selling yourself. Like, it might sound crazy, or it might sound, I don't know what the word is, but when it comes down to like that, you're selling yourself. When you meet your girlfriend's parents for the first time, you're selling yourself. You don't. That's it. That's what you're doing. You're trying to make yourself appear to be and come across as the best version of you, which
Right.
is, people buy people, and that's the same thing when you're selling a product as it is when you're building relationships. It's no different at all. I guess the only thing is, no, you don't have to make a payment if you're meeting your missus's mother or whatever. But yeah, I believe that. I believe that when you meet people, and everywhere I go, I carry myself the same way with the same positive energy, because I know that that might open a door for something for me.
Right. And I've always thought too, in terms of selling, my background's in the mental health field. And so when I was, moving into the space that I'm in now, thinking about selling and marketing and branding, and I'm like, I don't know how to do all that stuff. But what I can do is connect with somebody and build trust. Right. And that's how I had to kind of like shift my marketing was around teaching, because that's giving value. And then my selling had to be around just genuinely connecting with people. And so that's what I constantly do. So it never feels like I'm selling. But like some people, they can't reframe that. But some people are just naturally good at it. Like, to me, it seems like you were very, very good at it, and you've built several successful business based off of what you passionately and naturally do well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So multiple seven-figure companies, and I think the thing is like you say, the selling part sounds a little bit, it might sound a bit aggressive to some degree, as in, you're trying to sell yourself to people, like as if you're putting a mask on and pretending to be somebody. No, I'm just myself all the time. It just so happens that my character trait is very extrovert, and is like, I can talk to you about all of these things. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I can speak to anybody in any room. I don't even have to have, even if I completely disagree with their opinion, I can sit there and have a conversation with them for an hour. Like, and it won't be me trying to impress my thoughts on them or the other way around. It'll be, oh, that was an interesting conversation. Someone who thinks completely differently to me is here, and then that's it. So yeah, like, selling yourself isn't putting a mask on, pretending to be somebody, and then trying to fleece somebody for money or whatever. Selling is like, are you good at connecting to people's emotions?
Mhm.
And what works with one person might not work with another when it
Right.
comes down to selling. So, in some rooms you can be very laid back. In other rooms you have to be very corporate. You can probably tell by the hoodie I'm wearing that I'm not really corporate. But when it comes down to the the selling side of things, I don't want it to come across as if I go out there and try and take everyone's money and that I sell things. I
Mhm.
sell things that actually deliver success and results for you. And that's why I'm so confident in my ability. And I can show you the 800 million that I've generated in revenue for businesses over the last 10 years. So, like, it kind of falls into into that category of not only talking the talk but walking the walk.
Right. Absolutely. And I think that people need to understand the more authentic they are, the more they can connect, then the more they'll be able to sell. It just happens that way. But no matter how successful or how wealthy you are now, it wasn't always like that, right? There's just
No, no. Yeah, it wasn't for me. I don't want to sit here. There's people who've had it a lot worse than me in their life. I don't want to sit here and say that. But when I was born, my parents were watering down milk to feed me. My mum was working 3 jobs. My dad was working 2. I'd spend a lot of time at my auntie's house. Um, so, yeah, it was a bit of a hard knock life. I didn't really notice it because I was so young. But, like, at that stage, my mum's focus, and she always ensured that the family had at least 2 meals a week that had meat with it. So that would be the thing. My mum was big on it. Like, you have 2 meals a week, a Sunday dinner, and then one meal in the week that you had meat with it. And my mum broke out of the ceiling first, not to the levels that I've got to, but my mum broke out from that, working all those jobs and doing all of that, to starting her own business, which is a few little shops and stuff. They do really well, but a few little shops, like physical locations. And then I've grown up, and I'm here today, but sandwiched in between that, is a whole load of pain. And all of that pain is what fuels me, and I'm so thankful for it. So the first one, which some people listening to this are probably going to think I'm the most lucky man alive, especially if you've lost people close to you. I've lost my grandparents, and that's the only loss that I've ever had in my life, like, that's family. So although that hurt really badly, like, it wasn't like losing a parent or losing a sibling. Well, my dad had a heart attack at 36, died. They brought him back with the defibrillator. I forgot the name of the lady, but it was a little Chinese lady, and my dad obviously knows her name from saving his life. She brought him back, resuscitated him, and he's still with us today. About 6 months before that, 7 months before that, my brother had a motorbike accident. He was on a moped at the time, going down a hill. A van indicated left and turned right as my brother was going around him. My brother went straight into the van. He's landed on his chin, cracked his helmet in half, his whole motorbike helmet cracked in half. My brother's got 7 metal plates in his face. The doctors told my mum that he wouldn't make it. And then that very same night, my brother's partner told my mum that she was pregnant at 16, because that's how old you have to be in the UK to have a moped. I think you can drive in the US at 16, but you can't here. So at 16, he was on the moped. She told him that she was pregnant, and when the baby was born, Lewis, he's like my best mate. I wish I had a picture of him, but Lewis is like my best friend. He's got Down syndrome. He was born. He had open heart surgery at 6 days old, and he's been having operations ever since to increase the size of his the vessel that opens for his heart. And if you sit next to my nephew Lewis, you can hear it tick. Like, he ticks like tick, 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 because every time his heart pumps, you can hear it, which is crazy. But I nearly lost them all. I could be sat here now on this podcast without my brother throughout my whole life, my dad, and without any of my 4 nephews who I love very much. Sorry?
How old were you when that happened?
When my brother had the motorbike accident, which was the start, the trigger, I was 7. So the memory's vague. The memory's a little bit dark, vague, but I was still old enough to remember, like, the time seeing my brother on crutches, been fed through a straw for months, couldn't walk, in hospital for 6 months or whatever it was. All of his teeth had to be redone. So I remember it. But then the real pain, that was painful, but I was too young. When I got older, at 18, I'd been with this girl for 5 years. At 14 years old, I got with her for 4 years. And she fell pregnant, and we were going to university. And it was in the first year of university she got pregnant. And we split up sort of slowly as my 3-year degree finished. But we split up when my eldest daughter, who's now 13, and she is absolutely gorgeous. But when she was 13, she was 1 year old. We split, and I kind of fell into heavy drinking, recreational drug use, but was quite heavy. Like, I was going out with the lads all the time. Like, I'd be not getting any sleep throughout the week. 4 or 5 nights a week I'd be going out. And I tell this story because a lot of people fall into it. Some people do this and that when they're younger, and like when get up to mischief. But I did all of that, and then I woke up one day and there was just a black cloud over me, and I've never felt anything like it. It was overnight like that. There was no drink or drugs involved with the feeling the next day. It was just I woke up and I realized what had happened, like that I'd lost my baby. Not in that sense, thank God, touch wood. I hope nobody listening has. But like I'd lost her in terms of the access to her all of the time, like having the ability to see her. Fell into a 6-month depression. Didn't leave the house. I was worried that I wouldn't make it through some days. It was really dark. My mum and dad thought that I wasn't going to make it through. They were worried about leaving me at home alone. Like I would sit and cry in the shower. I'm still medicated to this day because of that pain. But what I would say to you is, after 6 months, one day I woke up and it was just by complete chance or by recovery or whatever. I felt 1% lighter. Like I can't explain it. It was so weird. I just felt 1%. It was only tiny, but I just felt a little bit different to how I'd felt for 6 months. Yeah. And then every day, or not every day, but as days went on, that weight got lighter. And then here I am. I'll take any risk. I'm all on black. Like I don't get risk. Like entrepreneurs, there's risk averseness that's involved in it, and why a lot of people don't take the jump is because of risk. Well, the risk isn't a thing to me because you can't push me to the edge because I'm from the edge already. Like I've been at the lowest you can be, so I'm not scared of going back there because I know exactly what it's like. I'm friends with the pain. Like, I smile at the pain. That's how I get through everything that happens. And it makes me quite lethal, to be honest with you, like on a day-to-day basis, because you can't offend me. You can't, there's nothing you can do. Anyway, like that's the story of how I ended up in a mental state that meant that I was just a bit ruthless when it comes to entrepreneurship, and like I wanted more out of life because I've been at the bottom.
Well, I appreciate how you reframe it, that you've made friends with it, because I haven't met one successful entrepreneur who does have a transformational story. I'm not saying that's somebody who's been through pain, because just because you've been through pain doesn't mean you've had a transformational story. You have to actually work on yourself. And that's what has those little incremental pain lifts. It's kind of like internally what's happening is your neural networks are connecting, and that's lifting, and this is in your brain, but that's lifting the negative energy off of you. So it's not holding you down anymore. And a lot of people don't understand that pain is not going to just disappear overnight. It's not you flip a switch or you take a medication or you win, the jackpot and you have a multi-million-dollar business. Like that's not what fixes it. It's that your development over time, you constantly working on yourself, constantly taking the next step forward. And you had told me a story right before we hopped on this show about sitting in that suite. And I would love for you to say it for the viewers, or the listeners, because money doesn't make you happy, that it really does come from inside. What was the story?
So the only thing about money that makes you happy is giving it away, right? That's the number one. That is a fact. Like anybody listening who thinks they want more money, they want this, they want that. We all want more money. Okay. I guess like we all want to make more money, be more successful. I guess, I don't know, but like I do, I look at it. I don't look at financial things as like a huge limiter, but like, of course I always want to improve my entrepreneurial capacity and make myself better. And as a byproduct of that, you make more money. So it's sort of something that happens. I'm not pinned up on numbers, but like I took my dad to Wembley for the League One playoff final when Sheffield Wednesday beat Barnsley 1-0 with the last kick of the game, which was crazy. Like after the semi-final, I won't go into it because it's not important for this pod, but like I took him there, but I didn't just take him there. I bought a box for the whole family. Like, so we had a box on the halfway line at Wembley, and I just stood there that whole day, and I was just happy for everybody else. I wasn't happy for me. Like, it wasn't for me. It was for them. It was like my dad's 60th. I was like, Dad, I'm taking you to Wembley. We're booking a box. The Arctic Monkeys were in the box next door. So, you know, it was like, yeah, like, you know, we'd like, and that was just, that's one example of why money doesn't make you happy, because I didn't sit there that day. I'd have been just as happy in the ground with the fans, like, than what I would have been sat in that box. But seeing my dad walk in there, he's got his waistcoat on, like he's dressed up smart for the day, and he's gone there, and my friends and my family obviously as well, my nephews and stuff. But that's one example. But where it really hits home to me is like there's a place that I stay. I don't know if I want to say it just in case, like, but like I stay in this suite in Manchester. And when I travel up there for recording purposes for my YouTube channel, Michael Elliott AI or whatever, like whenever I do that, I travel there. Or if I'm just in the city, I travel and I stay in this suite. And I'm not going to get anyone in trouble and tell anyone who told me, but I know that Pink has stayed there, Madonna has stayed there, Nicki Minaj has stayed there, Bruce Springsteen stayed there. So, and the list goes on, like the names of what I got, Royal Sheikhs, like, you know, like everybody, like loads of celebrities have stayed in this suite. And like, that suite's like $2,000 a night, like to stay in. And I'll like go for 3 days and I stay in this suite and I spend $6,000 on this suite. And I'm like, I sit up there, there's this massive room. Sometimes I'm on my own completely. I'm sat there working, recording, writing scripts. I'm looking around. I look at like, or I'm laid in bed and I'm like, Madonna's slept in here. And it's like a really weird feeling. I'm like, Madonna's slept in this room. Nicki Minaj has slept in this room. But none of this space makes me feel very happy. I don't feel like happy. And it's because the actual finances themselves and the flashy things that you think that you want to be able to say, oh my God, yeah, I stay in this room where all the celebrities stay. Like we had to log Liam Gallagher's son out of the TV in the spare room the last time my nephew came because Liam Gallagher had stayed there. Like, you know, from Oasis. Like, and, you know, I'm sat in this room and I'm thinking, nah, like you don't need to be in this room. Like there's been times where I've left a day early and just left it. Like literally I've paid for it, but I've just left the room because I don't need this flashy things to stay like I'm very grounded. So like I try it to think, you know, well, yeah, you can afford this lifestyle now, or like you can do it, you know, go there occasionally. I'm not saying I could go stay there every day, but go and stay there occasionally every few weeks or whatever. But you know, anybody watching thinking, no, having money's not everything, not having it is. Who is it? Kanye West that said that. Not having money is everything. If you can't afford to feed your family, etc., money is everything. Right. But once you, once you have enough money, it becomes worthless, really, and you sort of like live on. I don't know. I hope what I'm saying is making sense because I enjoy nice holidays. I enjoy nice things. I enjoy buying nice clothes. I enjoy all these things. Like, okay, yeah, I do. But they don't give me happiness. They don't give me peace. They don't give me like tranquility. They don't do anything like that. It's just a bonus of working hard and doing all right, I guess. Does that make sense?
It does. And when I work with entrepreneurs, and then of course myself as well, because I'm an entrepreneur and I've had to do all the work on myself and I use the crap out of my techniques, right? The best thing that I have ever experienced is a state of bliss that does not come from anything external. It's only inside, and when we can find what inside us needs to be shifted, and we shift that, because sometimes it's in our brain, sometimes it's in our body, sometimes it's just a mindset that we have to fully embody. A lot of that is letting go of whether it be control or attachment or past pain or even just what's going to happen in the future. Who cares? I'm just going to allow myself to be. And when
Can
that
I? Can I don't mean to interrupt you, but like, because I want to challenge you on something there, as in your position, knowing because you're going to have the answer to this question. I've never known it, right? I've never known it. So, looking at the future, it's like Lion King. It was in Mufasa, like where he says, he's like, like he hits him around the head with a stick, and he's like, and then he does it again, and he ducks, and he's like, that's because you've learned from the past, like, you whatever. Rafiki exactly says, but that like he's teaching him the lesson.
yeah.
Like the future, you can't predict. Everybody spends all this time worrying about things that they can't control. They don't know what's going to happen, and 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's either doesn't happen at all or it's significantly not as bad as what you thought it was going to be. So why worry? All those days and hours you spent worrying, why? Because it was better anyway. But the challenge that I wanted to put to you was the way that I feel about my spirit and what gets me up every day to work hard. I can actually feel it inside of my stomach and in my chest. Why is that? Like you mentioned, letting the pain go. For
Yeah.
me, the pain in there from those times
Yeah.
when the world was against me, literally, like the people, I've got like two friends and they're the same friends that were there for me then. Like, that's it. Like, why do I feel that inside? Why is there that pain inside of me that I don't want to go anywhere? I want it to stay because it's why I'm so successful. It's why, well, so successful is relative. It's why I'm, in comparison to where I was, I'm successful. Why is that? It's like I can feel a fire, literally, like I can feel a fire.
Well, that's actually how a lot of people explain it because our bodies are energetic and we are emotional and we're creative beings, right? But we have this opportunity to alchemize, which is shifting the energy. We can turn pain into passion, or specifically, you're talking about your chest. I see that as love. And in your solar plexus, which is your higher belly, this is more like power and control, right? However, when we're running, let's say you're building an empire on your trauma, it always hurts you. However, when you shift that, then you can utilize it as fuel to amplify the good feelings, which creates an even bigger empire, but it doesn't hurt you. Right. And
Yeah,
so it's the difference between, and I've worked with so many entrepreneurs who built their empires based off of trauma, and they were able to shift out of that because they were able to shift the pain. And it doesn't mean that you lose the wealth. You don't, you actually amplify it. But the internal shift is what allows you to let go of the pain. Right. But the fact that the energy is there, it just doesn't hold the weight. So it shifts itself. Right. But
I
this takes
see.
intentional work. It's all energy
Yeah,
work.
I see. Because I don't look back. It's a good point because one thing I must say is like I don't look back like at my because I've got a baby with her and I don't really want to talk on her on podcasts. But like obviously, of course, I've had a relationship that has ended. Like it's not like I look back and I think I'm going to show you or anything like this. It's nothing like that at all. We have a great relationship now, but it's just knowing how low that I went.
Mhm.
Like like it's what fuels me because I know where you can go. I know how far you can drop to. Like I know where you can be. Like and yeah, I guess I do channel that energy, but I've never felt like I've let it go. I always feel like it's there and it's something that I use to get the job done. It's that's basically the way that I feel, but maybe it is exactly what you're explaining and I'm just not clocking it in that way because I still feel that in my stomach every single day. I feel it.
Well,
So yeah,
what I see as a common theme is whenever it's time to let it go or retire, or they're just their body is burnt out and they can't run off of the fumes that are left. They've built multiple empires. but they're just not fulfilled. And they're finally realizing, okay, I can't keep doing this. What's the difference? And that's usually what allows them to shift out of building based off of trauma. They still remember the story, and you have an even more beautiful story of transformation, but it doesn't hurt you. It's not hurting you
Yeah.
anymore. And it's a transformation story that's uplifting. And that's usually people who end up, instead of working on the business, they're more like just giving. They move into philanthropy, and they're there to just completely give back because their body is actually creating more of a think about it like a ball of energy where your energy feeds the people around you, but it doesn't suck any energy from you. You're creating the energy to go to everybody around you. We actually lift more people up, but unfortunately, it takes a lot for entrepreneurs to really keep moving with the pain still inside, because a lot of them do that. It is
Yeah.
fueling because we turn it into our passion, but it's still built off of trauma, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I understand. And it's amazing you mentioned that about other people, because I've got a small squad with me of people. Like some of my friends I've started businesses with, the two friends that I mentioned. I've got loads of people who I know who I'm cool with. I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that, but I mean like the people that were really there when it was tough. And one of those, we've started a 7-figure company together. Like I fronted the money for that. Like I took him out of not having a job or going in and out of jobs. He had a bit of a story as well. Like he's been to prison, and it was when he came out. It was basically like, are you going to carry on down this road, or are you going to sort yourself out? Because those are your only two options. And he chose to sort himself out, and he has done ever since. And he learned his lesson. And the thing that I say, the reason why I say that is because that's his trauma. Like that's his issue. It wasn't anything crazy that he did, let's say, but like I'm just saying that everyone has their own story, everyone has their own skeletons, like everyone has their own things, and we speak it. He speaks that, I speak it, but I uplifted him, and the small people in my squad now, Chloe, Harriet, and Reese. It's my lifelong goal to make them all millionaires. So I have like something inside me that, whether it's when I retire and I sell assets off, or whether it's through growing companies and percentage of companies, whatever it might be, I have to make them millionaires. Like I feel like I owe them the debt because of how hard they've worked for me all these years. Like as we've grown, like they've, as far as I'm aware, the day that they ever do would be the last day that we ever spoke. But as far as they run through brick walls for me, like right now, I can see it happening to the side of me in this laptop. They run through brick walls for me. They help me organize stuff. Nothing's too much trouble. If I need someone to talk to about something personal, they're there. And technically, they're members of staff, but they're not. Like they're my what's the word? My counsel. Do you know what I mean? Like they're the battery in my back. So they're gonna get paid their dividends. And this is what I was saying about money. It doesn't make you happy. The only thing that makes you happy is giving it away. Like, why do I feel like that? Why do I not feel like I want to make 9 figures myself and it be all mine? Like, and the reason is because I've had loads of money, right? I've had 7 figures, multiple 7 figures in the bank. Like, I've had it there, and it didn't give me any happiness at all. Like, at all. You walk through the shop, you buy a nice pair of trainers, great. Like, or a nice watch, great. But making them part of the journey, and I always have this vision, don't know why, but them stood over my funeral. They're at my, I don't know why. This is a dream that I have, and then I think about it in the day. It's really weird. I have this feeling of like people at my funeral, and like everybody's explaining like, it was different with Michael. Like with Michael, he tried to lift you up. He wasn't crabs in a bucket. Like he was trying to help you grow. Like, and it's weird. I have that dream. I don't know if that's sort of my inner self-esteem saying, oh, you're going to do this, or whether it is just because it's on my mind and subconsciously there. Like, I don't know, like, whatever. But everyone around me, I want them to feel that energy and feel lifted and empowered. I would never hold someone down. Like, a lot of people do in this world. I wouldn't hold anybody down.
Well, a lot of times what I've found, and for myself and the individuals that I've worked with, impact and love, those are the two things that really do start to fill you. But it's like sometimes you can't feel it because there's still so much pain in there, you know?
Yeah.
I really want to, I just want to say thank you so much for your vulnerability today. And I think that it really helped a lot of listeners get the clarity on a lot of things that they probably wouldn't have if they didn't listen to this show.
No, I could have carried on talking for hours. So thank you for having me on. There's a lot of pain inside of me, but it doesn't matter where you start from; it's where you finish. And wherever you are right now is. It doesn't matter if you don't compare. One of the biggest pieces of advice, if I may, just end with this from me, is that don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 30. Don't ever look at someone else's cup to see how full it is. Right? I look at inside people's cup to see if they have enough, whereas other people look in my cup and see if I've got more than them. And that is the difference between, in my opinion, a good human being and a bad one. Is the person that has that. So yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs are scared. I can't do it. This guy's this big. They've got a massive following. Do you know they all started from the exact same places where you are right now with nothing? Yep. Apart from a very minute few who are born into billions, whatever. We weren't as lucky as that. So that's just the way that it goes. So I think I'd rather earn it the hard way anyway. So that's my final piece of advice. And if you're sitting on the fence of making an entrepreneurial decision about doing it, pull the trigger. And if it's because of a job, quit the job. Make sure you've got 3 months in the bank to support your family. Quit your job. The worst case scenario, you have to go and find another job. That's it. So shoot your shot, because I can live with a loss. I can live with being knocked down or knocked out. I can live with that, but I can't live with a what if.
Right.
I can't. So I have to try. And then if I fail, I fail, but I can't live with a what if.
Absolutely. At least you tried. Thank you so much for your time today.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining. Your time and your focus are your most valuable currencies, so thank you for giving that to us today. Our guest contact information will be in the description below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But please, if you know someone who's struggling, stop right now and send this video to them. The struggle behind growth and success is real, and they need the support to make it, because the strongest minds are the ones that healed. So don't forget, lead louder, feel deeper, and stay resilient. Until next time, this is your host, Dr. Campbell, on the Resilient Minds Podcast.